Wednesday morning, everybody. Welcome into Morning JOX here on a Wednesday morning. Conrad Van Order here with you as we have a big night of SEC hoops to recap and another big night coming up as we inch closer and closer to not only Nashville for the SEC tournament, of course, but also Selection Sunday in the NCAA tournament. And, as we get to this time of the schedule, everything gets ratchet it up a little bit. Every game's important regardless of who you're playing, because if you're playing a team you should beat and you don't beat them, then that's going to look bad on you. And even if you're not supposed to win, or it's not going to be maybe a big stamp on your resume, you got to keep piling those wins up, building momentum so you're playing your best basketball at the right time of the season. And so we had Auburn. They were in action last night taking on Oklahoma. You had Tennessee and Missouri. You had Kentucky, South Carolina in action, and then we'll get into tonight's slate as well. But, of course, we are going to have to start off with the Auburn Tigers and what went down last night in Norman, Oklahoma. So it was a late tip, and it was you could hear it right here on JOX out there in Norman, Oklahoma. But Auburn, they rolled in, coming off that win over Kentucky over the weekend. They had been a 5-game losing streak for the Auburn Tigers. They get the big win against Kentucky, and you start to feel, okay, like maybe this is, the Mississippi State game was a bump in the road, but now they're getting back on track, and you just wondered, where that momentum might be able to carry them moving forward now into the, final 5 or 6 games of the regular season. And so you go to take on an Oklahoma team last night that you just look at their record and probably really don't think too much of it because it's not impressive. But, Oklahoma, they've, played some very, very close games against very good competition. We've seen them take down Vanderbilt recently. We've seen them take down Georgia. So, you knew that going in, you were going to have to play your best, give your A game in order to have a chance to win on the road. And unfortunately for Auburn, it was really more Oklahoma playing their A game last night. And look, the fact of the matter is, there's a lot of teams that Oklahoma could have been playing against last night, and if they shot the basketball the way that they did, they're going to beat a lot of those teams. Because when you shoot 68% from three-point range, 13 of 19 overall from three-point range for the Sooners last night, that's just winning basketball, and that's going to be tough for anybody to overcome. And, you look at what Auburn did, and Auburn – nothing to sneeze at. They had a pretty good night as well. You shoot 42% from three. You go 8 of 19 there. So obviously not quite where Oklahoma was, but still a solid night shooting the basketball there. 47% overall. You go to the free throw line 27 times on the road, which we know Auburn is really, really good at. Maybe better than any team in the country just about at getting to the charity stripe. And unfortunately, it's just not enough. So Oklahoma, they walk out last night with a home victory, 91-79. And so this is, one of those losses for Auburn now that, this is a team that's not really in tournament consideration right now for Oklahoma. And they're, in the bottom barrel of the SEC this year. And this is when you looked at the remaining games for Auburn, and you had the Kentucky game and the Alabama game, and those were going to be the two really difficult ones. At least you felt like on paper, and so you got the Kentucky one, but then you looked at what else you had with Mississippi State and Oklahoma and LSU, and these opportunities to go and honestly beat the teams that you're expected to beat if you're Auburn, and now you've lost 2 of those games in a row. But thankfully, the Kentucky win has kind of salvaged that. But you're in a tricky spot now as it goes to the NCAA tournament, and you probably need to you might need to beat Alabama now on the road in order to really cement that status, or have a nice time in the SEC tournament to kind of secure that spot in March Madness, because it's we talked about it after the Mississippi State game, right? The Florida win, as great as that was, the Arkansas win at home early in the season, some of those really, really impressive wins, they're great. But at a certain point, they can only kind of take you so far, and you have to look at the complete picture of the resume for what the Auburn Tigers season has been. So a disappointing one last night. You did have Keyshawn Hall. He had 26 points. He shot 7 of 10 from the floor, and he went a perfect 11 for 11 from the free throw line. So you'll certainly take that. He had a slow start though, so he had over 20 of his points in the second half. So he kind of came alive there. But you look at Todd Pettiford, only 4 points from Pettiford last night. He only made one shot from the floor. He goes 1 of 9. Only made one free throw last night, and that's just that's not going to be good enough. And I mean, as good as Keyshawn Hall was, and how he was able to score, I mean, he turned the ball over 6 times. And so that's, there's kind of evens each other out a little bit there. It's okay, you go for 26 points, but you're turning the ball over 6 times, and that's not the kind of thing you can have from the guy that's going to be your primary scorer. But last night was the Kevin Overton show, at least for Auburn. He did have 26 points along with Keyshawn Hall, but he goes 9 of 17 shooting, 5 of 10 from deep. So he made 5 of Auburn's 8 3-pointers last night. So he really kind of helped salvage things on the offensive end, especially in the first half. He was definitely the guy that was leading the charge there. But, I mean, you just look – I mean, again, Pettiford not really able to find a rhythm. Keyshawn Murphy's only available for 14 minutes. I know he's in foul trouble, and a guy that had been kind of the hero against Kentucky and – had played really, really well a couple games ago against Arkansas, even though I know that was a loss, but he still had a great game. And you look last night, he's on the floor for 14 minutes, only scores 4 points, 3 rebounds, no assists. Again, it feels, and I was talking to somebody about this last night during the game watching it, and it feels like at times for Auburn, there's only one player that can, really kind of excel at a time, right? So it's, in the first half last night, you had Kevin Overton leading the charge, and then the second half it was Keyshawn Hall, and it's, okay, well, what happens if Keyshawn Hall and Keyshawn Murphy have a great game, together? What happens if Todd Pettiford and Keyshawn Hall have a great game, or Kevin Overton and Murphy, or whatever combination you want to go with? And it just feels like the majority of the time that, we're talking about an Auburn loss on this show, you're kind of looking at it as, well, this one guy was kind of all that they had for significant portions of the game in terms of contributing on the offensive side of the ball. So another frustrating one there last night for Auburn and Oklahoma. So they now, as you look up, they are 15-13 overall on the season right now, and they are now 6-9 in conference play. And you just look at where that is. That puts you 11th in the SEC right now. So you're one game ahead of Mississippi State and one game behind, or game and a half, I guess, technically behind the Georgia Bulldogs for where you are right now. But just a rough go of it. Again, last night for the Auburn Tigers, you look at Oklahoma, they had 4 guys in double figures. Nigel Pack, he leads the way. He was perfect. He was 4 for 4 from 3 at halftime. He was absolutely on fire, but he goes 6 of 8 from 3. Then you had, you had Jones. He goes 3 of 4. You have Brown, 2 of 4. Darion Reed goes 2 of 2. So, I mean, again, when somebody's shooting about 70% from three-point range, it's not really going to go your way most of the time there. So a big win for Oklahoma last night. They defend their home court, and Auburn now, a lot of Auburn fans probably scratching their head this morning going, man, these are the games you have to win, and you have another one coming up on Saturday against Ole Miss, and got to win that one. Absolutely, you're going to have to win that one if you want to try to kind of keep yourself in the good graces of the bubble there in the NCAA tournament. But we'd love to hear from you this morning, 205-834-9450. If you're an Auburn fan, how do you feel about, the NCAA tournament, standing moving forward? What did you think about the game last night? And where's your confidence at when it comes to, the Ole Miss game on Saturday? Is that a game you're expecting to win, or do you kind of have your question marks now? So we'd love to hear from you, 205-834-9450. We had some more hoops last night we can dig into, and, of course, you've got Alabama. They're going to be in action tonight. They're hosting Mississippi State. That's an 8 o'clock tip-off down there in Tuscaloosa, so we'll talk about that one as well. But a big night coming up for SEC Hoops yet again, and we would love to get your reaction as Auburn. They do fall 91-79 on the road in Norman, Oklahoma. But more SEC hoops, that's coming up next as we roll along here on Morning Jocks. Welcome back in. Here we are on a Wednesday. A little bit warmer this morning. I'll take it. It's actually twice as warm as it was yesterday morning, just doing some simple math. So,
Yeah.
if you think, oh man, it's cold this morning,
It was colder yesterday.
it was doubly cold yesterday.
Yeah.
So we're doing better rapidly.
So spring is right around the corner.
Sure. Yeah, I mean Puxatawny Phil was a big fat liar for a couple days, but it's we're back to being in good shape. Now, I will say this though. So me and my wife and I, we went I won't name the place, but we went to a restaurant in Vestavia last night after she got off of work, and it was really, really crowded. And, we were people were having to wait around for someone to get up and get a table because they're outside seating. We were like, oh, well, I mean, it's cold, but we'll sit outside. Like, you got heaters, right? And they said, well, we got rid of all of our propane.
Got rid of it?
Like, why? They go, well, I mean, it got warm for like a week, so we just figured we could get rid of it. Said, well, you could also have kept it for next winter.
Right.
But yeah, they were like, oh yeah, sorry, we don't have we threw away all our propane. So,
Threw them away.
in February.
Yeah.
I'm like, so have you never lived in the state before? And it's like, I mean, y'all been open for years. Like, this isn't you didn't just open and you're like, oh yeah, it got warm, so we just got
Like, it's still February, man.
wild. I mean, wild.
Right. I can understand if, we're in the middle of April and it's like, okay, yeah, we're trending upwards as far as temperature, but we're
Just tell me you ran out. Like,
right. Yeah.
oh yeah, sorry, we ran out. We need to go get some more propane. Okay, I can be like, okay, well, that's kind of annoying, but whatever. But like, you completely got rid of it for. Anyways, some things just don't make sense, do they? But that would fall into the category of last night in Norman, Oklahoma, where that didn't really make a whole lot of sense. So just quickly, Damian, before we kind of look at what we have coming up tonight, in the world of SEC hoops, just your takeaways for Auburn, maybe not even so much just from last night, but just moving forward now, like where do you where do they fall for you? I mean,
man,
they don't look like a tournament team lately, so.
Right. Last night was like the worst case scenario. It was, you needed a win to follow up the momentum after you beat Kentucky, but Oklahoma came out hot. And the thing was, like, you had an answer early on, and it's almost like you ran out of gas there at the end, and Oklahoma just started to separate themselves. But when you're that hot from three-point land, now, granted, a couple of those shots, they were pretty open, but some of them were contested, and it's, sometimes it's just not your night. But it hurts because when you look at the resume and the schedule now, it's, man, we can't keep giving y'all grace for the wins that you have. You have to continue winning. That's the hard part, because how can we sit here and have discussions of, I know it's tough to win on the road, but you went down to the Swamp against the defending national champions to beat them, but an Oklahoma team who they got to win the SEC tournament to find themselves the SEC tournament, find themselves in the NCAA tournament, and you get handled. Like, it's kind of, you can't afford any more. I thought that the loss to Mississippi State was kind of the wake-up call of, you got to win out.
Yeah.
And I didn't take into account the Oklahoma game. I was like, you should beat Oklahoma. You were favored going into the ball game. It's, even if you play a B-plus game, you should still go out there and beat them, and you didn't.
Yep.
So right now, Auburn, you can give me an argument that they should still be in the tournament because of their strength of schedule and who they've played, but they have to continue winning these games that on paper you should win. Like, there's just no excuse anymore.
I mean, you got two left. You got Ole Miss and LSU that you got to win those games.
Right.
You've got to win those games. I think people give you the Alabama one, again, just like the Kentucky game. Like, if you had lost to Kentucky, which you didn't, which was great, and that, I mean, if you had lost that game, then we're talking, we're having
you're
a
NIT.
conversation. Yeah.
You're NIT.
But it feels like you might have to go on the road and beat Alabama, in that final game of the season, especially if you lose one of these next two. Like, you're going to have to win that game, most likely to win or make it to the NCAA tournament, unless you just get insanely hot in the conference tournament in Nashville. And I know people probably don't like comparing Alabama and Auburn things, but this is honestly like probably the best analogy, or at least the one that most people I think could relate to here. Is it kind of reminds you of Alabama football 2 years ago, where it's like with Auburn this year. It's like, so you beat Arkansas by 20 plus at home. You beat Florida on the road, maybe, one of the 5 best teams in the country right now. And then you have these games, and then you have the Alabama football team from a couple years ago. And it's like, so you beat Georgia, but then you lost to a bad Oklahoma team on the road. You lost to Vanderbilt. Like, it's so how can you beat the best, but then you're also playing to the competition of some of the bottom of the barrel teams
Yep.
in the conference, and it's just uh it's head scratcher there. But again, I mean Auburn, they're back in action Saturday against Ole Miss. Got to get back up on the horse, and you got to win that basketball game.
Yeah, no ands, ifs, or buts about it. You have to win.
You got it. Yep. You just got to find a way to win. So we will get to some of your reaction here coming up in just a moment. But just kind of running through the rest of the league for you really quick, because you had a really big win last night for Missouri as they took down Tennessee 73-69. So Missouri now there should be pretty firmly in the NCAA tournament field there. So they're now 9-6 in the SEC. Tennessee, they fall to 10-5, and of course that will be their next opponent is Alabama coming up this weekend. But a nice win there for Missouri at home. You had Kentucky; they take down South Carolina by 9, 72-63 on the road. So again, just business as usual. That's a game that Kentucky absolutely should have won, and they did. So that was your other games you had going on last night, and then tonight. We've got 5 games in the SEC. So you've got at 6 o'clock, Florida at Texas. That should be a good one. You've also got at 6 o'clock, Georgia at Vanderbilt. Another good game there. Alabama, Mississippi State. That's an 8 o'clock tip-off. You can see that on ESPNU. You have Texas A&M at Arkansas at 8 o'clock. That's a big opportunity for Bucky and A&M to kind of get kind of a statement win in conference play. And then you have just a horrible basketball game as LSU and Ole Miss will play. Now, the football game, can't wait for that one.
Yeah.
This one,
Yeah.
I have so many things I would rather do than watch this basketball game. So, but, if that's your thing, then more power to you. But a full slate coming up tonight as we roll on in the SEC hoop season, and we are just a couple weeks away, not going to be very, very far from making it to Nashville in the SEC tournament. But we want to turn it over to you here for a moment, because some of you ready to chime in with your thoughts on what's going on with Auburn after their loss to Oklahoma last night. And we'll start off on the phone lines, as Don has been waiting patiently for a few minutes now. And I told you yesterday, Don, we'd let you get in here. And I know it's probably not the way that you wanted to be coming on to talk about Auburn, but what are your thoughts on the game last night?
Well, guys, good morning, first of all. I'm starting to get used to this, guys. I really am. I mean, it's just bad. You can't get beat by a team that's 3-11 and let them shoot 70%. I mean, you're watching it and everything. First of all, Oklahoma had a great game plan. Those guys were wide open in the corner, making everything they shot.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn's had. I mean, that's kind of been their. I don't know if it's their biggest issue, but one of their probably 2 biggest issues this year has been defending the perimeter. They are just not great. And I mean, you saw that. And I mean, sometimes it's just going to happen. But when, what happened with Hubbard last week, and then you go up against a team, Oklahoma likes to shoot the 3. Nigel Pack's a really great 3-point shooter, and you just still don't have an answer for it.
Yeah, and also, too, I don't know if y'all noticed this or not. I don't think Stephen Pearl, Bruce Pearl wasn't good at this either. They don't know how to call timeouts when somebody's making a 10-0 run on them. I mean, it's not good, but hey, listen, it is what it is. Every time I'm excited about news about what's going to happen in football, and I really think my football team might turn the corner next year. But look, to me, I don't really think they should make the tournament. But I mean, that loss last night's probably worse than the Mississippi State loss, in my opinion.
Well, at least the Mississippi State game you could look at and go, well, this one guy had just an absolutely insane night. So, okay, well, let me ask you this, Don. So if this continues, you don't make the NCAA tournament, would you want to see Stephen Pearl come back for another year? Are you willing to give him some time? Or, would one season of this be enough for you to maybe want to go in a different direction?
I'll go ahead and answer that question in a different way. Auburn is never going to would never fire Stephen Pearl because of what Bruce Pearl did for Auburn basketball. But yeah, I would. I mean, I think he needs at least one more year.
Okay,
Conrad. I think I think he deserves at least one more year. Because think about it, he got thrown into the fire, and to me, Bruce Pearl, if he knew that this was going to happen, why not just go ahead and do it? And I thought he should have retired a little bit earlier than he did, because What
I
did
think
he,
this
what
is
did
why
like
he
about him?
retired when he did, because he saw what he had. I think that's why he
Well,
stepped
yeah.
away.
Well, you know what? Yeah, when you lose 10 players like that, no, you got only Todd Pettiford back as a regular guy, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he's losing a lot this year too, isn't he?
I would think so. Yeah, I would think there's going to be a lot of new faces.
See,
next
Don,
year.
I do have a question for you. With what you've seen from Tahad Pettiford, and again, he's probably your most quote unquote talented player, even though he doesn't lead the team in scoring. But do you think he needs to stay in college for another year, or would you like to see him go on to greener pastures, whether it's the transfer portal or the NBA draft?
I'm gonna make a prediction for you, Damien. He will not go pro, no. But he's from New Jersey. I bet you he transfers.
I could see it.
Yeah.
That's the world that we live in. Hey, I hate it for you, Don. He's your Ryan Williams. I'm sorry.
That's a good comparison. Well, guys, thank y'all. Y'all have a wonderful day, fellas.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate you chiming in, being a good sport this morning. And
He's already in football season.
yeah, no, he's already. Yeah, well, he's been done. He's been talking like that for a couple of weeks now. But I think the Stephen Pearl thing's interesting because I mean, again, I'm typically not a fan of firing somebody after 1 year. Like, I do think you have to give somebody some time. And in the situation that he inherited, I mean, in my opinion, his dad did him dirty. You can, if you don't like that I said that, that's fine. But in my opinion, that's what it is. And I understand the sentiment of you want Bruce to continue to be around the program, and I understand that. But at a certain point, he's not the coach anymore. So you have to do what's best for the program moving forward. And having him as an advisor, if you're not winning basketball games, what are you getting out of that?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's the same thing. And I mean, it's a little different, but I mean, I've been critical of Alabama paying Nick Saban. What are you paying him for? He's not helping you win football games. I get what he did for your university, and that's great, but at a certain point, you have to break away from that, and you have to go and find a new way to win and to carry on what they did, and you appreciate what they did, and you're grateful for it, and you don't forget it. But, at a certain point, it's okay, if you're 3 years into this thing and this is what you got from Auburn, you got to cut the cord. Like, you can't continue to keep somebody employed and running a basketball program into the ground because of what his dad did, and you want his dad sitting courtside at the games. Like, his dad did you dirty.
Yeah.
Like, I get he did a lot for you, but he put you in a bad situation this year.
And I also think, and again, this is a 1 year sample size.
It is.
And I think people tend to forget, Bruce Pearl didn't jump right into Auburn and win either. Now, Again, it was different, a decade ago where the program was in complete shambles. It really was. And it took time to build it back. And to this point, it's Bruce retired. He left kind of reading the room of, okay, I don't think this team is going to – I don't expect us to make a Final Four. I don't expect us to make a deep run. But also, I can understand the nepotism side of things of, hey, it may stink or it may be unconventional how Stephen Pearl is the head coach at Auburn. But I do think that you have to give him a little bit of grace as far as he wasn't going – there was no expectation of this team to go make a deep run in year one.
No.
Because the roster was not the same. But I can understand the frustration of, well, he may have not been the man for the job, period, if you looked at his resume. But this is a situation that you're in. And I think I can see it both sides. But the way that I look at it is, all right, this is year one, and you can hang on to the fact that no matter how ugly it may seem, they went on the road and beat a Florida team that are the defending national champions. That's a fact.
Yep.
They beat a Kentucky team at home that is going to the NCAA tournament. They beat Arkansas, a team that has a top 5 pick on their roster right now. So as bad as it has been in certain moments, there are some good spots. This roster is not what you've seen when Auburn has made those deep runs. And he's found a way to figure it out at times, and he's also found some losses like last night at Mississippi State. So it's a kind of a catch-22 where if we're in year 2 and 3 and we're still having these same conversations, then yeah, we should have never hired him to begin with. But I think in year 1, we kind of have to just take it for what it is. Because again, it's not. Look at the football side of things where you hire Hugh Freeze and you look at what he did in the transfer portal and recruiting. It's okay. The talent is there. Right now, I don't think the talent is there. Like you have Tahad Pettiford, you have Keyshawn Hall at times, but when you look at everywhere else, it's not what it used to be. So I think that a lot of things play into it, but this is a frustrating first season for everybody involved. And I just think that there has to be a little bit of grace. The process in which we got to this point, yes, I can understand that you got some issues with, but kind of look at the team as a whole. Where do you think that it could get better? I guess you'd say, because I kind of agree with Don where if Tahad Pettiford does play college ball again, I don't think it'll be at Auburn. I think it may be somewhere else. And I'm assuming that you're going to lose Keyshawn Hall, who's
You're okay with that?
Yeah,
he needs to go.
Addition by subtraction. But I mean, even last night you saw Kevin Overton. That's one game out of however many they've played that you finally had the supporting cast kind of elevate, and it still wasn't enough. So I don't know where Auburn could find ways to get over this hump. But also, again, it's year one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough spot to be in, and I mean, I think you have a couple guys. I mean, I think Elijah Freeman's shown something as a younger guy. I think Jovic at times has shown that like you could develop him into something potentially. Like you've got guys, you got a couple at least that you could maybe keep in place and try to move something forward. But I think at the same time, it's kind of like you said, right? Like whether it's the roster just didn't gel or certain guys' skill sets just weren't what you maybe thought they were going to be. It didn't translate to the SEC maybe. You probably need a fresh start in a lot of ways next year. And that doesn't mean that it's going to necessarily be better, but it's you have a chance to be better. And you have a chance to have kind of your own identity and honestly have guys that, not saying that these guys don't want to play for Stephen Pearl, but guys that know that they're signing up to play for Stephen Pearl because, I mean, let's be honest, like Keyshawn Hall thought he was playing for Bruce Pearl.
Right.
I mean, the Big 12 leading scorer came to Auburn to play for one of the best coaches in college basketball. It's just been a weird. It's been a weird year for Auburn, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating to watch, and we'll see if they're able to pick themselves up and maybe make something here.
In your
make
gut,
something happen.
Does Auburn make the NCAA tournament?
No, they don't deserve to.
Gotcha.
Well, my thing is, why should I believe that you're going to go and beat Ole Miss this Saturday? Like you should, but you should have, like
they're at home.
Neville's not. It's not.
Nah, I'm with you.
I mean, we talked to Tom Hart on 3-Man Front a couple weeks ago, and he said it was the worst he's seen Neville in years. Like the atmosphere is just not there. It's the same. I mean, it's sorry, but it's just like Jordan Hare now. It's not. It's not a thing. It's not anymore.
So it's like a night game in Death Valley.
If you're Alabama. But I'm
I'm with you.
I'm happy to be told I'm wrong, but
I'm with you.
The proof is there.
It
doesn't mean you can't get back to that because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
You got the fans, you have the support, you have it's not there right now, and you got to get back to that. So we'll continue on this conversation. More of you chiming in with your thoughts here on the show. 205-834-9450. You're listening to Morning Jocks here on a Wednesday. Welcome back into Morning Jocks, 6:37 here on your Wednesday. A little bit warmer day here in the Magic City as we're getting up into the 60s today. That's what I'm talking about. Give me that warm weather. So going to be a great day here on Jocks. Of course, we'll keep you entertained and informed here all the way up into SEC hoops tonight. So you've got Mac and Cube. They're coming up next. They'll be with you from 7 to 10. Then three-man front from 10 to 2. And, of course, Paul be with you from 2 to 6. So no need for you to change that dial. You can also check us out on YouTube, Jocks TV. Go hit that subscribe button, and you can watch along, and you can see the wonderful Damian Mitchell and all of his glory this morning. And you can watch all the shows there, as you can also check out our podcast, all that good stuff. We appreciate it, all the support we get from our listeners. I did want to say this real quick. So, Pat Lindrum been giving me a hard time because I was moving into my house and I didn't have time to watch the hockey game. I did go back and watch the highlights and stuff, and I apologize for that. But I was busy this weekend. My wife and I bought our first house. We were trying to take care of some things. And so I was trying to sell our old couch on Facebook Marketplace last night, and I did sell it. But I got a randomly, you got all these people, how blah, 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 where can I pick it up, all this stuff. And one person messaged me and goes, if you were a real American, I would buy it from you. I was like, well played. Well played. I'm like, I'm glad to know that this joke has carried on weight, and I just hate to know that there's like probably 1% of the audience out there that's like, this guy really hates America. Like there's probably like 2 people out there maybe that are like, oh, they're a communist. Like, no, I love America. It's a joke, but it's just funny to see that. Because I'm like trying to sell this couch. I'm like, man, I need to get this thing done. So my landlord, I can move it out and get my security deposit and all these things. And I'm like, okay, well, I appreciate the joke.
No, listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. I probably watched 5-10 minutes of it myself. But I did watch the actual overtime. Like I watched that part because it was quick in overtime, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like we got the dub.
I watched the women's game for what it's worth. I was able to watch the women's game. I was unfortunately.
Yeah, and also something I just was doing some research. You know how many games Auburn's lost at home this year?
Oh, let's see, 8. I don't know.
1.
Really?
Texas A&M. Where if you go look at the review.
Interesting.
If you look at the review, I'm just saying that possibly they could have won that game. They would be undefeated at home, but most of their losses have come on the road. They've only lost 1 game.
Okay, well that is good that they're okay. Well, I mean I'm glad that they're keeping that alive with with that. Well, in SEC play, they're 10-3 at home.
Yeah, 10-3,
which
right,
that's still pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean that. Don't get me wrong, that's good. But yeah, I mean,
Vanderbilt
2-7 on the road is tough. But
right.
That's where
So there's still some magic in Neville. Maybe not Jordan Hare though. I get your discussion on Jordan Hare. Like I've seen
and I think the atmosphere at Neville can be good. I guess the point is more so, at times where, maybe in the past you would have had the atmosphere would kind of lead you on a comeback or bad first half, crowd comes out energized, let's go. I guess that's more so what I'm saying is I think you have a lot of people that maybe fall into the like what we heard from Don, where they're just kind of like, good riddance, give me the football season. And so, like, they might go to the game, but they're not.
Right.
The second that they face adversity, it's like, here we go again. I'm out.
Yeah. Because you remember during football season a couple of years ago, during the 5-7 year when, they stormed the field when they beat Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an issue with it because I was like, wait a minute, y'all. Hold on. Like, we're rushing the field against a, 22nd ranked team in the nation.
Yeah.
When I've also watched an Arkansas team go and beat you at home. I saw Cal beat you at home. And it's like, okay.
New Mexico State.
New Mexico State also did beat them at home. So I'm not saying home field doesn't play a part because, again, like you said, the atmosphere is there. Because, like even when they played Georgia this past season, like it was rocking. But I also saw Kentucky beat you at home. I saw Missouri beat you at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, it's kind of – I'm not going to sit here and say it's, folklore, but I do think that there's a perception of how it's – there's a perception of how it's looked at as far as the public setting. Like there are moments where it's like, hey, the LED lights, the swag surfer, yeah, it's cool. But when you look at the results on the field, it's
Correct.
oh, okay. Like again, the environment great, but also it loses its luster when we have evidence that you don't defend home field or home court.
Yeah, if you have a great atmosphere and you lose to Georgia, it was a great atmosphere, it was a great game, you played a great team. But if you
Right.
do that and then you lose to the Kentucky,
Yeah, it's just kind
it's
of
harder to sell. And we're talking about football.
Yeah, for
it's,
sure.
It's harder to. No, and I get that. And again, I just think that just talking to people, and I mean, talking to Tom Hart, because he's called games in Neville this year, and talking to other people that have been there, and I'm the first to admit, with Cole, like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like, Coleman's like this crazy atmosphere or anything for Alabama, because it's not. I mean, it's not. But I guess it's just with Auburn, it felt like that was the one thing you could always count on, and now it just maybe hasn't been up to the same level that we're used to in recent years. But you know what? Winning solves that, and winning gets that for you. So
yeah, my apologies on the research. Yeah, it was three times at home. Yeah. Vanderbilt, Alabama, and
yeah, somebody said
Texas
yeah. I'm
A&M,
pretty sure Alabama. Multiple people reminding you. That,
yeah. My fault.
Well, you're a big Alabama basketball fan,
Exactly,
so
yeah.
you knew that.
Of course. Yeah, I said, going into right when Auburn's about to hit that little stretch towards the end of the season, I said that Alabama was going to sweep them. Now I definitely feel confident that Alabama's going to sweep them. To solidify that they're not making the NCAA tournament, yeah, it's a wrap.
I just love that. I mean, we've got some Auburn fans that are, want to chime in with their thoughts and stuff. But the second you said that, we had like 6 Alabama. Oh, we beat them.
Yeah. My fault.
They want you to
stand on it.
Stand on business.
Stand on business. My fault.
Stand on business a little bit. Let's see. We have Jamari from Talladega. Okay, sorry. He was saying the same thing. Oh, John Mack, everyone's favorite Aggie. He says, sorry, I just read them. I guess, I don't know if this is autocorrect, but it says, Dum Dum wants football season, LOL. Albie is going to get strummed this year in football. Has anyone told him Texas University came and took his favorite player? Who is he going to talk about every week now that Cam's gone?
See, I'm with you when you're right. Now
we're into Byron Brown season. Cam who?
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Cam who? He's like that Isaiah guy that I can't remember his last name still, but
Bond.
Bond. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. He went to Texas. But listen, John Mack.
What did he do after that?
Not sure.
Yeah, can't remember.
But listen, John Mack. You a certified hater, and I respect it. Like you double down. Now, if Texas did get Auburn's best player, what does that do for your program that hasn't beaten Texas since they've gotten back into the SEC? So just kind of, read the room a little bit.
Good point.
Yeah, if they did get Auburn's best player.
Yeah, it's a two-way street.
Yeah,
it's not good for Auburn, but it's really not good for Texas
you.
A&M. Yeah, that's a great point there.
Yeah, so I would tread lightly, but I respect it though, because I listen. One thing we need more in college sports is a little hate. We need it.
It's good for the soul.
It's good.
Not a lot, but you need a little bit of.
Yeah, just
You just a little bit. And before anybody comes after me, I know that Isaiah Bond is in the NFL now. That was a joke. I just don't like it.
Yeah, you choose to forget.
Yeah, I just don't like that guy. He made one play
and dip,
and that. I will stand by this. I think that the 4th and 27, I think that was probably the worst thing that could have ever happened to him.
He's forever an Alabama legend.
He catches a pass, and then he's immediately like, pay me more money or I'm not playing in the playoff. Like, oh, okay. Cool.
Texas did.
That's how that works.
Texas did.
Oh, no, like in the season.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, that is true.
In the season, like he was.
Yeah.
Like, okay, glad to know where we stand on that one. I wish him well in Cleveland, which is where he is.
He got Shadur Sanders, Pro Bowl quarterback.
I'm glad he is. I'm glad he made it to the NFL. I don't want, and I want him to be successful in life, but it's pretty sweet that he plays for the Browns. So it'd be the last place I would ever want to play. All right, let's see. This text rolls in. It says, I agree about rushing the field against A&M. I asked my Auburn buddy because I was embarrassed for them. So there you go. Someone agreeing with Damien on that one. Let's see. It says, well, when you have your worst 5-year run in program history, you're going to lose some games at home. Talking about Auburn football, yeah, those kind of tend to go hand in hand. I feel like. All right, more of your text rolling in here. We're gonna carry on this conversation. More thoughts on Auburn and uh, where do you go from now? If you're Auburn basketball, how do you kind of pick yourself up off the mat and find a way to make a surge here, getting closer to NCAA tournament time? Some of you chiming in on Neville and Jordan Hare, and is the magic still there? Is it kind of lost its luster a little bit? We'll continue on right here on a Wednesday morning, Jocks. Final few minutes here on Morning Jocks here on your Wednesday morning. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you as we're continuing the Auburn conversation, as it was a rough one last night in Norman as Auburn fell 91-79 to the Sooners, and their NCAA tournament outlook is kind of bleak right now. But we'll see if they can get back to their winning ways against Ole Miss on Saturday. They're pretty much going to have to if they want to find themselves punching their ticket to the NCAA tournament. But we have some beef here on the courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450. So John Mack, Damian I thought made a great point about Cam Coleman, and John Mack was taking shots at Auburn fans of, oh well, your best player's going to Texas, and it's like, well, that's a bad thing for Texas A&M because you can't beat them. And so John Mack's response was that they got Isaiah Horton, so that's their Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
Yeah. He will be really good for 3 games, and he will disappear the rest of the season. So I wish you the best of luck with Alabama's wide receiver 3 from this past football season. But now Don Don's responded. He says, Cam Coleman was not our best player. And this year, Byron Brown will be our best quarterback in years. By the way, has A&M ever been to the SEC championship game? Hell no, so shut your pie hole.
Wow. Okay.
That's Don Don. That was his response there.
It's a Wednesday in February.
Don Don also added that he hates you, John Mack. So happy Wednesday, everybody. Let's continue here on the text line. I love it. I love it. See, this one said, somebody texted in. They said, if they don't, talking about Stephen Pearl, they said, if they don't fire his sorry butt, I won't watch Auburn hoops again until they fire Stephen Pearl.
Hey, so he's
He's
not watching Auburn basketball for the next 3 years?
I just read them.
Hey.
This text says, where do you go now if you're an Auburn basketball fan? I guess to the campus bookstore and get an Auburn softball t-shirt.
Ooh, boy.
Baseball's good, too. Baseball's doing really well.
Yeah.
Baseball's doing really, really well. Let's see. Someone says, I was making fun of Isaiah Bond because I don't like that he betrayed his the school that gave him an opportunity. But anyways, nonetheless. Let's see. Someone says, I agree with you, Conrad, but you almost can't blame the kids. You know they've got people in their ears telling them what to do. He said, I'm forever grateful that he did make that catch after all the heartbreak that Auburn had dealt to us. It was nice to drive a stake through the heart. And it was a great play, no doubt about it. It's just went to his head real fast, man. Really, really, really fast. Let's see. Lee says, whatever Auburn or Alabama do during the regular season or March Madness is irrelevant because Florida is going back-to-back. Lee, a Gators fan there, feeling confident right now. I like it. And Jamie says Auburn's getting them a dose of something called nepotism.
Oh, boy.
We're back tomorrow at 6 a.m. Appreciate all of you. Mac and Cube is up next.